The HOD is the student of Professor Ademona, and our own program will refer to her as the Philemon of Legacies in the School of Law and Security Studies. The first female Attorney General of the School of Law and Security Studies. Thank you for making it time to listen this morning. I also have there our first fruit, and that is Dr. Uduka Oyinkansola, the head of the chair. We appreciate you. I have here with me the representative of BU LSS Alumni. Please, can you stand up for recognition? They are sitting in the front row. Please, can you stand up for recognition, please? Please, let's stand for recognition. Thank you for putting this together. This is the first of its kind. You can have your seat. And I have here this morning my great backup student. Thank you for also being a part of this program. Thank you, we appreciate you. This is the first homecoming at the School of Law and Security Studies, and we are glad that this is happening in our own time. History is being made today. Just like yesterday, the first set of 27 law graduates left for greener pastures after completing 5-year LLB program and 1 year at the School of Nigerian Law School in Abuja. Year after year, we have every set leaving for the Nigerian Law School. And I made note that today we have 15 sets that passed out from 2010 till 2025. We are blessed. We are blessed. I can see our DSP, former DSP coming in. Please move to the front. That's one of us too. Thank you. On Saturday, which is tomorrow, many will be here because they couldn't obtain permission to be off work today. So tomorrow promised to be greater than today. Please, let's be here tomorrow, and VC will be the one to preach to us. Let's not disappoint you. All students will having combined worship in this hall tomorrow. If you go to every law firm all over Nigeria, you will meet a BU LSS grade. And that is because our students, they are doing so well out there. Every top tier law firm, every bank, every boardroom, you will meet a BU LSS grade. And my VC said, even outside the country, there is nowhere you don't meet a backup grade. And that tells you that the Lord has been helping us through our product to showcase the good work that we're doing at Babcock University. Our best is yet to come. So our alumni, they continue to distinguish themselves in the courtroom, in legal practice, in the boardroom, in public service, in academia, and in corporate practice. Their integrity, their innovativeness, their achievements continue to bring honor to this school and to Babcock University at large. Today, as we gather for this maiden LSS Alumni Homecoming, my heart is filled with gratitude and pride. Gratitude to God for His faithfulness over the years. We have come this far by His grace and by His mercy. And for this, we are grateful. I also want to thank all the BU LSS alumni seated here this morning. They are the representatives of the entire set. If we count from 2010 till date, we can say that we should have in this hall not less than 1,000 BU LSS alumni. We are talking about 15 years. I did 15 cents. 15 years, 15 cents. That's how many? 100%. Only the first, second, and third set had 50. So not less than 1,000 should be seated here this morning. But many will be joining virtually from today till tomorrow. They paid for the homecoming, but distance is a barrier. They cannot come. But they are here with us in spirit, and they are also here online. So I want to thank you for representing over 1,000 BU LSS alumni that have left the school. I can see the excitement in our students. They even made a video to let you know that they look eager. They are eager to have you here. They look forward to interacting with you, asking you some questions. How many of you watched the video? So you have questions to answer today. You have been a source of inspiration to every one of us. You stood tall. You reached the sky. And even went beyond on it to make a day for us all. Backup law is the choice of all aspiring art students because you have raised the bar of excellence. You are our pride, you are our joy. You are living testament to the quality of education and values imparted here. Equipped with quality Christian education, you are gone forth into the labor market as worthy ambassadors, upholding Babcock's vision to positively transform lives and impact the society for good. As teachers of law, we are proud to be a part of your success story. Seeing how far you have come affirms that the seeds sown here years ago have indeed become good fruits. Bear fruit unto salvation. You are born and we are happy about that. This reunion is more than a social gathering. It is a celebration of God's grace and mercy. A celebration of excellence. A celebration of good legacy and vision that have shaped generations of backward graduates. It is also an opportunity to look ahead with renewed hope and commitment to shaping the future of legal education in Nigeria as a whole. Today, we celebrate 50 years of excellence and scholarship. A few notable achievements of BU LSS Alumni is evident in our Hall of Fame, and I will not bore you with a repetition of all the pictures we have placed there and their achievements. But I want to let you know that the true measure of our work lies not in the walls of this institution, but in the impact of our graduates across the world. Our product is our selling point. The theme of this homecoming is very hard: shaping futures, celebrating legacies. This calls us to celebrate where we are coming from and to build partnerships that ensure that those who come after us will do even greater things. The School of Law and Security Studies remains committed to providing a holistic faith-based education that equips students to excel professionally and to serve humanity with compassion and with justice. As we look forward to the future, we recognize the invaluable role of our alumni community. For the past 2 sessions, Anita Ebi, a BU LSS alumnus, have faithfully given us awards in honor of best female graduating students and leaders who served ethically. At the 2025 graduation, Dr. Chinaka gave an award in jurisprudence, and this was a new addition. I make bold to say, Mrs. Jemima Adediji's award for the most improved student is very innovative. She said, you always give those that are doing well in the field of education academically, but you forget that we have students that are struggling. And she said, the award I'm going to give is to the most improved student. I told her to justify it, and she was able to justify that award. And that award entered the list in the 2025 graduation. These are awards from BU LSS Alumni. We want to appreciate you, and we thank you because you are giving back to your school. Just last week, Adenike Akonde's proposal on the Lex Veranda essay competition was received. Applications will open next Tuesday. It's also with monetary award. May I, through this forum, appreciate these donors for their thoughtfulness and generosity. Their alumnus, your experience, your mentorship, and support are vital to sustaining our progress. As we celebrate this moment together, we look forward to strengthening collaborations through internships, endowment projects, and knowledge sharing so that together we can continue to build bridges between past and present and prepare the next generation for excellence. And let me say that recently, FOSA organized a competition, and guess whom she invited? BU LSS students. And our own students came second in that competition. Thank you very, very much. I'm very grateful to the local organizing committee. Dr. Luka, thank you. You are first fruit and you are taking the lead. Thank you so much. They planned this event. You will agree with me that this hall ought to be filled. But we are not deterred. We'll keep moving. You know why? God given instruct us in His word not to despise the days of small beginning. So this is like a small beginning for us. Let us not despise it. On behalf of the entire faculty, staff and students of the School of Law and Security Studies, I warmly welcome you once again. Welcome back to your alma mater. May this homecoming renew old friendships, spark new ideas, foster good partnership between our alumni and the school, and remind us never to forget our home. Always remember that although time may pass and paths may diverge, we remain one BU LSS family. Once again, thank you for coming and for putting this together. God bless you.
You can do better, you can do better. We have the set of 2026 here. Welcome Professor Philemon Amanze for the keynote address.
Thank you very much. Once again, I say to you a happy Friday. This is a day to remember in the School of Law and Social Studies, the premier LSS Homecoming, holding this weekend to the glory of God and to our own blessings. This morning, I'm glad that we are here. And God is also blessing us one after the other. What I'm going to present this morning is also on the screen. So as you listen to me, you can also look up and follow suit. This is keynote address on shaping futures, celebrating legacies, bridges between past and present. This title is loaded. It's loaded. So, before I do the presentation, let me do a few protocols as courtesy demands. The President Chancellor of our University, Professor Oyinkansola in absentia, other people officers and officers of our university who may not be here, but they are following us in the spirit. You know, the Provost of the Iperu campus and Dean, School of Social Studies, a former Provost and Dean of this school, and the current President of the CIBN, Professor Relive, who is also here with us today, heads of departments, present, professors and heads of units who are here, fellow academic leaders, eminent alumni from the School of Law and Social Studies, civic officials, gentlemen of the press, I say again, good morning. How are you today? If you are trying to see, wait for me. Just like this. Just like this. Just like this. The MC is not happy at all. Okay, they are doing it now. Thank you very much. Put down your hand, please. An analysis of the theme of today shows me 4 different sub-themes, and they include shaping the future or shaping futures, celebrating legacies, building bridges, then building bridges between past and present. The first one is shaping futures. Shaping futures refers to the factors and forces, both broad and individual, that influence direction and development of societies, economies, institutions and organizations, and our personal and individual lives. It also means strategic technological advancements like artificial intelligence, global sustainability initiatives, economic transformations, current cultural visions, and practical policies that affect us in one way or the other. They all contribute in shaping the future. On a personal level, individuals shape their own future through deliberate choices, through goal setting and preparation for tomorrow. So the question now is this: what does shaping the future mean for you and for you and for you to think? What does it mean? On the screen, I want everybody who can look at the screen to read with me at the same time. One go. It means based on what? The will of God. Preparing ourselves, all that we are planning to do, based on God's way. So now, what are the basic principles of shaping the future? What must we put in place to ensure that the future is shaped? In the book of James chapter 4, verse 15, we have the phrase, if God will do this or that. This shows humility and a recognition of God's sovereignty over the future plans of any of us. Don't make a plan for the future without God. If you do, you will not succeed. Therefore, plan in line with God. In the book of Matthew chapter 6, Jesus taught us the Lord's Prayer. And the fourth phrase in that Lord's Prayer is, Lord, let thy will be what? Be done. Thy will be done. Even Christ himself, in the Garden of Gethsemane, says, my prayer, Father, not my will, but your will be done. If the Son of God could ask that the will of God be done, how about you, my brother and my sister? How about you today? A scholar called Malcolm X once said that education is a passport to the future. For the tomorrow belongs to those who have for it today. We thank God we have done that. We are still studying for the days to come. By the grace of God, through education, we are preparing for the future. Our Prof and Dean cited this very copy a moment ago when she was speaking. Zechariah chapter 4 and verse 10. And he said, do not despise the days of little of small beginnings. I thank God for this premiere, first of its kind homecoming. It started little, but by extension, and individual lives, in planning for tomorrow, don't despise small beginnings. Begin something. Pray about it. And in your lifetime, you will see it grow, 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 and mature. Another principle, another factor we can consider is having a plan. Have a plan. Have a dream about your future that must be developed by the help. Write it down prayerfully and review from time to time to see the progress you are making. In August 28, 1963, Martin Luther King Jr., among other things, said, I have a dream. I have a dream. And for the weeks and months and years to come. What's your dream for yourself and for your family? What is your dream? What is your dream today? Martin Luther King Jr. lost his life in that fight having won. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Alumni must have set goals and targets in planning for the future. We must have set goals, specific, measurable, to what? To success. To success. Goals and plans result to success. Don't live a life that has no goals and has no targets. Planning for the future means you need to communicate vision for the future. The hearts and the minds of others to their life. And we want God. There is a need for us. All your hearts straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body, health to your body, nourishment to your bones. Proverbs 3, popular verse. In all your ways, my dear alumni, consult the Lord in prayers. Thank Him through evening prayers, and you will not be led astray. You can walk alone. Affiliate. Seek the support of colleagues, senior colleagues, your comrades, and even those in quote who are junior to you. Because no single individual is a repository of all knowledge or wisdom. Synergize. Teamwork. Work with others for success, for success, for success. Be involved in diversity and inclusivity. Yes, no one knows it all. Involve others. The next point you have to bear in mind to succeed as a plan for the future is that change is important. A guy called Heraclitus said, the only thing that is constant in this world is what? Is what? Change. My dear friend, on this Friday morning, I'm telling you, change and the needs arise. Change and the needs arise. I'm not saying be a politician, but change within your lifetime. Change your position. Change even your job. Change where you do it for better result, for positive result. The next point to plan for the future is to endeavor to be self-reliant. As much as possible, be self-reliant as much as possible. And be self-sufficient. What is self-sufficiency? It's the ability to provide or support yourself without the help of other people. It means being self-sustaining and independent. Be your own master. Be your own mistress. It means being able to meet the financial and other obligations without depending on outside assistance. You can do it at a level and begin to move to the next level, little by little. If there's a need, take a loan. If there's a need, what did I say? Take a loan. Take a loan for capital projects that can generate enough cash flow to deploy the loan facility. Don't be afraid, take a loan. But do not take loan to pay salaries and allowances. That's killing yourself. As a young scholar, don't take loan for everyday operations. that loan, to have returns to pay off that loan within your time. We begin to make profit. Take a loan when the need arises. AI is here. Embrace it. You can't break away. AI is around. Embrace it. To make your study, make your work, and make your life more interesting. Now, let's go forward to the next thing. Celebrating legacies. What is legacy? A legacy refers to the lasting impact we say. It refers to achievements or values handed down from one generation to another generation. Legacy. In education, legacies are found in traditions, values, excellence, and networks that have been built over time. Some people who have left legacies in this world, in Africa and the rest. The main village here is called Dangane. There was a guy here called Fawehinmi. Left a legacy. Cannot be forgotten. Legacies. South Africa, Orange State, Nelson Mandela left legacies for us all to follow. Selflessness. Legacy. Legacy. So today, how can we celebrate legacies? We can celebrate legacies through recognition awards and memorial programs. Alumni events and institutional anniversaries. My friend, what we are doing here this weekend is what? Legacy. Par excellence. Legacy. Par excellence. Through scholarships and endowments in honor of distinguished individuals. Number 4, universities naming lecture halls, roads, libraries, or scholarships after exceptional individuals and donors. To an every here, a period standing in honor of who? In front of me like this, a period standing in front of who? Deborah who? Deborah, just Deborah. Over here, we have a building in the name of who? For the gentleman, for who? Say it again. Gamaliel building. These are buildings. These are legacies. Where we are standing, where we are sitting and standing this morning is named after another individual. Called who? Justice who? Olowojobi. You see what I say? On this campus, we have people being celebrated because of what they have done for this university and for humanity. Legacy. Legacy. Number 5. Alumni who contribute to the alma mater through philanthropy or mentorship are also celebrated. They're celebrated. The sixth way can, celebrate legacies through preservation of cultural, academic, and ethical standards passed down through generations. The legacy of honesty, the legacy of teamwork, the legacy of love, the legacy of not cheating the examination. These are celebrated and rewarded. Today, how can we build bridges? In this context, bridges are the connections between different times, peoples, and ideas within educational community. Not Lagos, long bridge in Lagos, not that one. But connections that we make among ourselves to unite the past experience They unite the past, that experience of tradition, with the present, innovation and change. In education, friends, bridges link students, lecturers, and alumni together. That's a link connecting them. Building bridges encourage knowledge, transfer, collaboration, and mutual growth. Now the question is this: how can alumni act as bridge builders between the past and the present? How can we achieve this? 4 points have been mentioned out. Number 1, through mentorship and talent channels, we can do that. Guiding students in the academic work, career development, and placement of pathways that shorten the school to work transition. Somebody can help a young graduate, a fresh graduate, to get placement in the place of work. Are we together? That is how we can build a bridge. Number 2, networking. By providing platforms for collaboration and professional growth through global alumni connections. 2 summers ago, I worked at several Legacies in Cambridge. After the service Dangane, I was coming home with my wife. We didn't take a taxi. We were walking around the street. I walked around the street with my traditional Nigerian dress, with Nigerian flag, blue, green, and white on it. As we were going, somebody was coming from the opposite direction, and he saw us. We carried the family. He found a parking space and parked, left the wife and children in the car, and ran after us. This is not okay. So we were running after us. Somebody said, "Look, somebody calling you. We look back. We send a look at our salvation university. And Pastor, I saw you and shared hands. I said, this is Amanze going. Are we together?" And we stopped. He said, "My brother, what is happening?" He was panting. Almost half a kilometer ahead of the people. He said, "I saw you." So we have to go back to see the wife and the children where they are in the park, waiting for him in the car. What are you doing here? I came here last year, trying to find my food, making some close strides. The wife studied here nursing, the young man studied accounting, and they're surviving in a foreign land. Oh, number 3, financial investment and support. Contribute financially and intellectually to our institutional development. We can set up scholarship, support capital projects and endowments that target equity and modernization. It can be done. Number 4, through innovation, knowledge partners. That means building new ideas to sustain educational relevance, giving curriculum advance, guest lecturing, co-design of industry and line modules, and capstones to a vision that align with learning in real world skills. You are out here working. That is spirit that is shared in each university. Am I competing with somebody? Are you know what I'm saying? Oh, thank God. On the screen, we have a building. Babcock University Alumni Building. Last year in South Africa, to talk about Babcock. When I built this building, ICT, are you still with us? Oh, praise the Lord, don't be sleeping. When I built this building on the screen in Pretoria, and I told them that our alumni constructed this building, the tallest in my university said, how do they do it? As of today, this is the tallest building in the back of the university. Done by who? Alumni of this university. At this point, we're saying we can do more. Even on this present, venue, we can do more. The landlord of the building is looking at the building. It's going to be direct today. What are the advantages of building alumni villages? What are the advantages? Some of them include strengthening functional identity and continuity, enhancing student motivation and career preparedness, promoting community service and global citizenship. Today, the first war, UK, USA, Canada are tightening their rope on visa. Tightening their rope on visa. Make it difficult for us to go there to study. That means we can bring America down to back of the battle. Do you know that has happened? We can bring UK to this campus. We can bring Canada to this campus. By planning programs through local systems, we can connect alumni in those parts of the world. Through Zoom, to have programs done here that will cost thousands of dollars to do over here, almost at a zero cost. It's possible through our communication. Then ensuring that the values of the past will remain the foundation for when? For the future. 2023, we have World Education Report. And they say, number one, that 60% of universities globally depend on alumni networks for mentorship and programs. 60%, 65% rather. It says also, number two, that alumni contributions account for up to 25% of university development funds. Wow. Wow. Next slide, sir. Ask the question. Everybody, what does it say? What no? One more time. What is the BU LSS Alumni story? If I follow the dean and pray for this campus, say, Madam Dean, do you have any account from this group of people where we can open and see millions cooling down for a particular project? I'm not calling how. Let's know that I have a problem. But in the future, someone can ask that question. What is the story? For here. But something is happening. And this premier meeting, this premier alumni homecoming will set in motion many positive activities in the prayer. As alumni, grab the opportunity to help other students to overcome everyday challenges to achieve their set goals. Alumni, the solution providers. Alumni, the solution providers. Prof. Sherman once said, we honor the past, act in the present, and prepare for the future. As a fact, we honor the past, alumni. We act in the present, prepare for the future. This morning, as I went down, I want to challenge alumni to do what? To look ahead. Look ahead. And I take a cue from the book of Philippians chapter 3, verses 13 and 14. That I got to say. It says, forget what is behind. Look for what is ahead. Press on somebody know alumni win the prize. It's possible through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Popular speaker, you know very well in Hawaii. You know that very well. Said something in a book titled Exclusive Energy White, page 195. What she said is popular. I want everybody to read with me one go. Amen. He said, having gone through our history in the past, we've not been alone. Having a long journey, God has been with us. I said, now we have nothing to fear for the future except as we shall forget the way the Lord has led us and the Lord preaching in our past history. Pray this morning, don't forget how God has been with you all these years and brought you here at this time. Therefore, congratulations. Tell someone beside you, congratulations. Tell someone beside you. Share the person and smile. Enjoy it. Congratulations. Congratulations. Dangane, why congratulations? No, not congratulations. MC, who are congratulating? But if I do not congratulate, oh, all the staff, all the faculty members, correspondent of LSS, and the office of admin and to BU for organizing this Alumni Homecoming. I say congratulations. All the alumni participating in this 2025 Homecoming, say congratulations. To BU, we are failure on anything not an option, and say congratulations. Therefore, on behalf of our President Vice Chancellor, Professor Emanze Tayo, I hereby declare the premier LSS Homecoming open to the glory of God and for the praise of humanity. Thank you, and God bless you.
Let's keep appreciating our Senior Vice President, Babcock University. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you for that wonderful keynote address. Please, you may have your seats. Packed with a lot of points that will help us be better persons, even outside Babcock. And we pray that the good Lord will continue to bless you. And we also ask that you also extend our regards to the Vice Chancellor who will be joining us as well tomorrow. Just while we're giving your address, sir, our very own Director of Alumni Connectivity, Dr. Jonathan Dangane. Please, Dr. Dangane, please. Let's welcome him as he joins us on stage. Dr. Dangane, you're welcome. You're welcome. Dr. Dangane is a powerful man when it comes to alumni and alumni issues. So, and he came with something for us in the right time. When it's the right time, we will hear from him. We also want to recognize and welcome our sister, Miss Ayobami Adekola, who is the lead marketing strategist at Zeta Oracle. She came with food. Please, do you want to come to us? Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for being a part of our program this morning. We want to quickly take the goodwill messages, and we will start by inviting our Prof, formerly of the School of Law and Security Studies, Professor Relive, who is going to be sharing President and Chair of Council. So please come and give us his goodwill message. You're welcome, Professor.
Our iconic Vice Chancellor, Professor the entire being represented by another consummate academics, our leader, respected leader, the man of God, Professor Amanze, good to have you in our midst this morning.
You have always been part of our history. And thank God you are part of the history that is taking place today. The goodness of the Lord will continue to pursue you. Let me also recognize our Provost and the Dean of Law. As I sat down, I was casting a retrospective glance on the days of making a shot at who will be your successor. And one of the things that was very central at the mind is that who can raise the bar, because I can say boldly without missing words that I raised the bar when the baton was given to me. And the choice, we committed it into prayers and everything, even against our will. I think the will of God prevailed. The current provost and then, was also appointed. And I can look back now to that time and this time, a lot of great things have been happening at this. Man, we are very proud of you as a successor, because there's an aphorism that you are not successful till you have a successful successor. So I can, after when I'm going to retirement, I can boldly say that I played my part and I also gave the institution a very wonderful successor. Thank you, man. I also want to recognize our HOD, one of them that is being represented there, Professor Ademola Time. I used to tell them that when it is the time for God to appoint you, nothing will stop you, but I forgot it. That God has appointed you to position of authority. Nobody can stop it, and nobody can. So we want to thank God for your life, and we are very proud of you. And we are saying that you will not disappoint us in this hospital. Let me also thank God for one of the very first reading fruits. As I was coming, I was looking at this like, all the people that are coming here, I thought they were, no, because I always use Dr. Oyinkansola as a pointer, because I think I taught I in 500 level when I came in year 2009. And it's a big banner, so it's bigger than this now. And we thank God for what God is using you to do to motivate the younger ones. Because anytime I pass through the garden and I see your picture there, it gladdens my heart that the younger ones are growing. And also permit me to recognize my deputy chair. And you will wonder who is the deputy chair. The deputy chair is no other person than Dr. Dangane, the master of youth. When I was appointed as 23rd president and chairman of council, I look at those people in Bangkok and the can add value to what I was delivering there. And it was one of those people I whispered to. They said they will follow Almighty will bless. Powerful man called Fosa. Yes. I will recollect when I saw you as one of the most promising, lawyers in Africa coming up. My HOD can be out there, they use my name. All those things when I get them, I tell it to the business, I tell it to people around to motivate them. I share it in the class too, so that people will know that these were the people who were together. And what that is telling us for those of us here, my message is very simple this morning. There is that little beginning, which all the speakers have already described. Don't despise the days of the little beginning. Some years ago, when we are coming in Lagos or going to Lagos, we will be afraid because our friends will challenge us. Are you sure you are doing law in Bangkok? When we will come back again, we will start appealing to our students. We say we can do it, we will do it and everything. But today, there is no gathering. I was a public hearing at the General Assembly yesterday. And anytime I introduced myself as the president of CNA, I also had the big day provost and dean Bangkok University. I can see the face of everybody in the assembly. It changed immediately that this man was here to talk to us. So I want to encourage every one of us not to despise ourselves. And I want to thank goodwill ambassadors and Fosa, because if they are talking of bringing in alumni today, because they have been our goodwill ambassador, we are no longer marketing the day. Our product is the one that is doing the marketing for us. I brought called the MD of IBTC and only the graduation, you will realize the made a statement 20%, more than 20% of those working in IBTC today are from Bako. In fact, the person who keep the man, moving up and down is your classmate, I mean your at the master's level, back in the day. So, back in the day, we encourage her to do masters here and now to be woman in the industry. So what that is telling us today is that let us be proud of Bako. Let us be a goodwill ambassador of Bako. And I just want to share a word for every one of us because we are all big family. And I want somebody to religiously read the book of Matthew chapter 5, 14, 15, and 16. That is what I want you to be today. Be different whatever you are doing. Be proud of what you have. And as you are doing that, add value to people that come your way. Do something that is new. Foster is a recognized name today in the entertainment law. You understand? He grew up in this place. I didn't even know that the guy put down at that time. But now I can say, don't hide your talent. Don't be intimidated by anybody. In fact, what is happening now in the marketplace is that people are being intimidated by Babcock students. I have about six of them working in CIBS office today. As an intern and then one thing or the other, and they are all very proud. People respect them. Not because of it, because of the value they are bringing up. A bit of value. Can somebody read that something before I find my seat? Yes. I want you to. Yes. Yes. I want them to read so that you read boldly to every one of us. Yes, go on.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 14 to 16.
Yes.
You are the light of the world.
You are the light of the world because you are being groomed in God's own university. See yourself as the light of the world. Make a difference in your profession. Make a difference at home. Make a difference on your way. Yes, you are the light of the world.
A town built on a hill cannot be hidden.
Yes, you cannot be hidden.
Neither
do
people light a lamp and put it under a
Yes, you can't go and hide yourself. Yes. You are now, yes.
Instead, they put it on a stand and it gives light to everyone in the house.
You must give light to everybody. In your office, give light. On the way, give light. In your profession, give light. Among your peers, give light. My prayer is that we continue to give light to Bangkok in Jesus' name. God bless you. There's wonderful jubileum. Let me will come tomorrow to celebrate with us. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our own Prof. Let's appreciate Prof once again. Thank you very much. We want to also invite the Director of Alumni Connectivity, Dr. Dangane, for his own goodwill message. Let's appreciate Dr. Dangane.
The Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me to stand on the existing and established protocols. I'm excited to be here this morning, and I want to pick up from where Professor Lagawati left. I want to say very uniquely and clearly that the School of Law and Security Studies set an example, the first of its kind in the history of Oxford University. And this is just the beginning of greater days ahead. I don't know how many of you have taken time to look around. A few months ago or a few days ago, you were marching around this campus in some black and white, as if you were choir members, all through the week. Today the story is different. Your teachers are now your colleagues, even though to make it look better, they are your senior colleagues. But a colleague is a colleague. In the term of using the word colleague. But we are all gathered here today to be able to refresh our minds on how it was and how it is. Then how can it be better? Because clearly, the experiences you all had while here should not be the experience of those who will come after you. It must be better. On the podium, I was whispering to Dr. Yagi I had the opportunity to be in school with him. Were we roommates? Yes, it was my roommate at the undergraduate. Those are on the other hand. Oh, sorry. Oyinkansola on the other hand. It goes way back. Way back. And if I would assemble all those who were there when she was there, she probably would be one of the first persons that you will not think you may likely hear much about her aside from making trouble. You know, she was very unique in making trouble, constructive trouble. But today the story is fundamentally different. I don't want to give you much with so much to say, but I want to say to you that while you are here today, you need to open up your mind to reconnect so that you can make a desired difference. But the story of your life, whether you agree with me or not, it doesn't matter. But the story of your life will never be complete without mentioning that you passed through the School of Law and Security Studies back at the university. May the Lord bless you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate Dr. Dangane. Thank you very much for your good message. The SDP has to leave us shortly from now. We just want to take some pictures with him before he leaves. So I want to invite the members of the high table. Let us stand so that we can have some good pictures taken. Thereafter, we'll invite the alumni to join us. Maybe we should come down. Yes, please. And then afterwards, we'll ask alumni to join them so that they can take also wonderful and good-looking pictures. Let us smile so that the picture can come on to. Thank you. Can we ask the alumni to join now? Like this, all of us, please, can we join this picture? Jenny. Very powerful people. Very powerful. Let us stand. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. We are grateful. Thank you to our SDC. Thank you very much to our SVP. We would also be expecting our SVP to join us tomorrow as our worship, as well as other presenters as we continue with our program this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right about now, we would invite our very own Foza to give us the alumni colloquium lecture on the topic law, technology and innovation, preparing today's lawyers for the next generation. We make sure that this topic carefully selected to be presented by schools. Please, let's a round of applause, please, for those that you don't want to give us presentation. Thank you very much.
So I did this thing when Ruri said, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Don't worry, I know you feel like we're saying nonsense here today. Do you feel like we're doing nonsense here today? Then give me the energy. Hello everybody. You know, when we go to other schools, they shout like riffraff, greatest. We don't do that here, but we respond with integrity and truth. So when I say hello, you give me the ginger and the energy. Alright? Are we good? It's going to be a very interactive session. Right? And I'm going to need response at every point in time. Before I start, I'll just give like a background story before the thing comes and before I start my, When I walked into this campus 12 years ago, damn, I'm old. That's supposed to make you laugh. Yeah. I walked into this campus as a 14-year-old and I got admitted to study international law and diplomacy. And like Dr. Dangane said, I walked up to late Professor Olomojobi and I looked at him and I said, excuse me sir, I very much know that my result qualifies me to be admitted as a law student. He was looking at me like, who are you? I'm like, you're going to admit me as a law student because I don't put ILD on my form. It's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, I didn't put ILD on my form, so why are you giving me ILD? From the results, I'm probably the first thing that made it, and he's like, so how old are you? I said, I'm 14. He said, there's no way surely you can handle the pressures of law. I said, are you daring me? He looked at me and he was so confused. And he was just like, okay, let's make a bet. If you remain on the first class to 200 level, I will transfer you to law. And I was like, alright, I'll see you in my 200 level. 200 level, I went back to him and said, okay, this is my result in case you didn't check it and you forgot. I'm on the first class. And he's like, are you really sure? I said, hey, don't change the terms of this contract. The agreement was every Wednesday, you send the secretary to the class to come and check if I've eaten. He's worried this life was just like, how can you be this small and under the pressure of everything that has to do with law? So every time, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling fine, and he'll send his secretary to buy me food. After I got free food, all through my 200 level in Bangkok. I'm not talking tasty fried chicken and stuff. So I use my small stature and stubbornness to my advantage. And that's kind of has been my story. Everything that has been considered a weakness turned out to be my strength. One of the first things, I remember walking in now and driving in. I remember Mrs. Apolaya. Is she still here? No, she's in campus. I remember that I was in the clinic and the nurse was refusing to attend to me. And I started going on. I'm like, do you realize that you have a duty of care to people? People will not give us like, bro, this coaching is not going to give you the health care that you need. Either you calm down or you get out. Then I lost my cool and she reported me to Apolaya. And Mrs. Apolaya said, okay, I've been seeing you walking around in this campus like you own the campus because I was the president. So every time you hear music at the end, at the back of the basketball court, you come, who is playing that music right here? It'd be like the awesome president is organizing sports something, then I'll go and be like, yes ma'am, it's within the rules for us to have social activities. So she used to be so upset, but this time she caught me. And she said to me, you're going to cut, I was in my final year, and she said, you're going to cut grass. So every 5 a.m., like every morning at 5 a.m. I wake up, I go and cut the grass, and I do Bible study. One day I was cutting the grass, and, Professor Udunike saw me, I was like, Fawehinmi, what are you doing there? I'm like, this trouble has got to me. I said, I might have been a bit rude to this one. She's like, I thought she was going to be like, oh, I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to help you talk to Mr. Klein. She said, all right, cut it very well. See you in class, don't be late for class. I was like, but you know what that experience taught me? Because when you go out in life, there's no regulation. Here in Bangkok, you are shielded. You are forced to conform. You are forced to be disciplined. You are forced to. The world doesn't care. You become your own leader outside. So every time I'm about to go off on someone, or even if it's within my rights, I say you have to behave yourself, because the punishment might be worse than cutting grass, right? So I'm really grateful for the education that I got in Bangkok. And I don't think you guys, and I brag about it when I go out. And people ask me, where do you train? I said, I trained under Professor Bankole 24. I trained under Dr. Arroyo. I trained under Dr. Imasoge. They asked me where my love for gender and balance comes from. I said, because I studied gender law, in Bangkok. And when I go to law school, I'll tell you one experience. When I go to law school, we sat down to do, law school will test you, by the way. Let's be clear. It will test you because you're coming, like I said, your rooms have ACs, your classes have ACs. You are just 30 or 40 in a class. You go to law school, you are 1,500 in one class. And you are doing like this. So for the first 1 month, I was confused. I'm like, how are human beings reading and studying under these conditions? And my set was the legendary 2013 set where 90% of us failed. And I was one of the people that caused the constructive trouble. Because the class was so hot, and we decided to write to the newspaper that how can law school training lawyers of the future be putting us in such unbearable conditions? It happened to get to punch. The next week, the hall was freezing like Eskimo. And I raised up my hand and said, please can we turn down the AC? The lecturer said, no, we're not turning down the AC. Say you complain that it was hot, you'll be cold. Then the lecturer said to me, he said, why are you always sitting at the back? I said, but I'm listening to you, sir. So he asked me something, I think we're doing civil litigation. And he asked me something, and I said, I have 2 chairs, sit down, because my friends were like, sit down or they will fail you. Oh. I said, no, sir. Let's retract. Because I come from a school where Professor Bankole asked me what's copyright. I defined it. He gave another definition and I was arguing with him. And he allowed me argue till we got to a logical conclusion. Because that's what a lawyer is meant to do. Analytical, you should be able to present your case, you should be able to argue your argument, a logical argument, right? So in law school, he asked me a question, I said, even though I don't know it, but it doesn't really sound correct, because I feel like I've read it somewhere, I just can't piece it together. Then, he said something, the class laughed, then I sat down. That was the first experience. The second experience, they came to preach to us about masters in school, how to travel, how to do this. And I raised up my hand and I asked, I said, do you have a program for entertainment law? And I quote, because I'm still going to go back to law school and do the same speech and call the lecturer out. Good trouble. Very, very good trouble. Right? And he said to me, I remember the white guys were like, yeah, we don't have that program, but if you probably would check this university, they they'll have it, and I explained that the problem was the money, and they were like, oh no, there's no scholarship available, blah, blah, blah. Then the lecturer put up the mic and said to me, what did you say? He said, what do you mean you want to do entertainment law? Do you want to be two-faced? Why are you not in this class? I said, no, I want to be an entertainment lawyer to your two-faced, your Kim Kardashian. He didn't understand. He said, a lawyer can do anything. A lawyer can do anything. A lawyer can wake up today, go to court, you do property, you do this, you do that. I said, respectfully, sir, I do agree. And I said, in fact, more respectfully, I believe that that is why lawyers are broke. Because lawyers believe that they can do everything, and there's no conversation about specialization. And of course, the whole class laughed. Everybody was like, oh, she's crazy, she's delusional. Oh, is it Babcock went to, yeah, not them. That's how they behave in that school. They feel like they are fresh. They feel like they know everything. And all this stems from the fact that one day they asked us to do a project, and I was like, okay, who's going to do the PowerPoint? And everybody was looking at me like, PowerPoint? I'm like, what do you mean? You don't know how to use a PowerPoint? Then we had the GDS, was Microsoft's Office. I don't know, do you guys still do it here? The Microsoft Office, right? And I remember when I was taking the course in Babcock, I was so upset. Because I was like, this is not adding anything to it. But when I got to those, people could not use Excel, people could not use PowerPoint, people could not use Microsoft Word. And these are the lawyers that the Nigerian law school is training. And it clicked in my mind that I did a quick analysis when I got to law school. I said, well, 1,500 in Lagos campus. I spoke to my classmates that were in all the other campuses, roughly about 7,000. 50% of us are probably studying law because your father and mother are lawyers, or you are the first generation lawyer, or they forced you, or they just feel like don't waste your life and come and study law. The ones that are forced to study law. Then the 50% that are studying law because they've seen they watch Suits, they've seen their uncle and their daddy, wear the wig and gown, they've seen the son. Okay, maybe I should do this. So now there's that 50%, which I fall under. Now that 50%, out of it, 25% are the guys that the only thing they know is the traditional law. They believe that lawyers are meant to shout, lawyers are liars, lawyers argue without logic. But Esquire barrister, that's your back of your name. That's 25%, right? And then the 25%, that they're like, okay, so I started this law, but maybe I'm the first born and the only child. The world needs, the world needs me to be responsible. So I have to go and do business. So you say lawyer, but the lawyer is a fashion designer. Or the lawyer is a food maker, or is a restaurant owner, right? Now there's a 5% that because of privilege, they are exposed to new information, right? And that 5% is where Babcock students fall under. That 5% is why you have courses like sports law. When I was in school, we did sports law, we did medical law, we did gender law, we did intellectual property law. Let me tell you how crazy it is. Law students are graduating, they come to me every year, and they are confused what intellectual property law is. You guys how many of you here did intellectual property law? See, 5%. The advantage of exposure to very, very important information. Schools that have been around for 100 years, 200 years, they fail at the instance of exposing young minds to new information. The billionaires, the world leaders that you have today are exposed to new information. The reason why I am Fosa today is because I was exposed to new information. Now the other part is that I acted on new information. The information for me was, I sat down and I did a projection and I said, in 10 years time, do I want to be a struggling lawyer do I want to be an expert? I said, okay, if I want to be an expert in my field, like I said, good trouble. I trust good trouble. I like being a trailblazer, I like being a pioneer. Which is why I ran for Los president, which by the way, a lot of people told me that I was not going to win in my class. They told me to step down and go for vice president. And I told them, no, I'm going to do it. And I did it, right? It's the same way I said, the population by the time I'm 30 is going to be 70% under 35, which means that there's going to be an explosion of creativity, right? This guy, when I was in school, we used to hire one guy, one photographer that would come from Iperu to come and be snapping pictures. Just one guy. I see him here with his gimbal. I see like what? Numerous people holding phones and creating content. That is the world that we live in. Content is the new oil. I saw it 10 years ago. Which is, God also gives you the gift of foresight. You pray for it. One of my biggest prayers when I was in school was the spirit of discernment and the spirit of foresight. Once again, exposure to new information. Because I could rightly interpret the Bible and understand the Bible. So I don't wake up saying my enemy should die. I don't care about my enemy. Why am I putting energy into my enemy when I can read the Bible and say, what's the new information God is trying to download to me? Are we still here? Am I catching people? Don't worry, I'm getting somewhere. I'm not a boring speaker, so you don't make me feel like a boring speaker today. Room reset. Hello. Thank you very much. I'm still getting you. Alright. So, new information, right? And that explosion, which is still going to happen, you guys are the leaders of that school. I'm becoming old, and I'll tell you why. The language that you speak, I don't speak it anymore. The language that your lecturers speak, you're speaking to your generation. And that translates to what you do, what you decide to do with your career. Some of you here have not decided, should I specialize? Should I do entertainment law because I'm seeing people that talk? Should I be a lecturer because I'm seeing people? No. Information and what you do with that information advises your career and your life direction. Now it brings us to students. Oh, you're doing jurisprudence. Is it boring? I know. And let me tell you one of the unfair advantages about Bangkok. One day I went to class. I was just like, this jurisprudence is so boring. God, oh my God. I think we were just 3 in class. Dr. Dangane came in class. Oh my God, you guys break my heart. Why won't you come to class? This course is going to help. I was like, why is it crying? He kept saying, this course is going to help you, it's going to... I was like, okay, I'm going to stay in class so he doesn't cry, but this course is actually boring. But 3 years ago, when I was invited to Russia to speak, and also invited to France to speak about the creative economy, the opening statement I said was, I said, according to the jurisprudence of XXX, everybody in the room was like, so brilliant. No, I just remember Dr. Fawehinmi crying, and he was talking about law as a social engineer. Right? And I believe that because that's the foundation of how I use the law. I believe that law is a social engineering law. And the fundamental of why we have so many conflicting laws in Nigeria is because we don't know which jurisprudence that we are doing. Are we doing capitalism? Are we doing socialism? Are we doing Marxism? We just do everything. The America is doing that. Adopt. China is doing this. Okay, bring this. Oh, it looks like France is adopting. Adopt. And it is also because of the quality of people that we have in the house that are making the law. Segue. Election is coming, go and vote. How many of you? Yeah, up to 18. Good. Election is coming. Vote. Local government, House of Reps, Senator, not only your president. And it's a chance to you also, a social responsibility also as a lawyer. Now, Law is a social engineer. We live in a world of information births innovation. Innovation is what has bettered technology. In my set, struggling with Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, do you know what you're going to struggle with? AI. I mean, I wrote something, I think the millennial generation and the baby boomer generation were the most stressed generation. In primary school, they were teaching us abacus, Pascal, then we moved, they said, oh, typewriter has come out. ASDF, Colloquium, JK. Then they came, they said laptop has come. And now I'm beginning to settle down into it. They said AI. I said, oh my God, how many iterations am I going to go through? But your job as an unfair advantage student or backup graduate is to take information and build on it and run on it. And that's what technology does. You can decide to say you want to be an oil and gas lawyer, or you want to go to court, you want to do litigation, you want to have a purist at law. Unfortunately, technology does not care. You'll be affected one way or the other. So the question is, how are you using this information now and developing it rapidly? Technology won't replace lawyers. However, lawyers that don't adopt technology will be replaced. And technology spans across anything we do. Now for you as students, basic technology would be those of you doing research, your research engines, your research tools, your software that you use to type and all that. But beyond that, which is why we're having this colloquium, there is a new world that even I don't have a full grasp of. But the advantage that you have is that we're less busy, so you can research. So 2 hours will take you to sit and probably attending to 7 clients, but you don't have anything to do. So you will research it and you will get that information. You have conversations around cloud and collaboration. You have the phone. Some of you subscribe to Google Drive, you subscribe to Cloud Terabytes, you subscribe to, we moved from the age of using, flash drives, right? You are now using the cloud. The question is, what are the rules and the laws that govern the cloud? If you watch or follow the American conversation, you see every day, Facebook, the owner of Facebook, the owner of Twitter, the owner of all the apps you have, are sitting out at the parliament and answering questions. The parliament is, having a conversation with them, asking them, the data you are collecting, how is it being protected? The people that are online, how are you protecting them from bullying, from sexual harassment, from this, from that? They sit down, 3 hours, they are answering questions. And beside them, do you know who the people are? The chief legal officer. Now, Africa, unfortunately, we've been for so long relegated in the bipolar world system. So the bipolar world system is the West, and it's America and the West controlling the world, colonialism and all that. But there's a shift. And also, as a Christian or as someone that has gone to Africa, you need to recognize times and seasons. It's very spiritual. So I'm going to be mixing spirituality now because you cannot function in this world, especially as a lawyer. When I graduated, they called me in my family and said, I'm down. And it's true, but Jesus, I'm with Jesus. But they call you and they tell you, should we register you in this community so that you are very protected, right? Especially me that I'm a troublemaker. But as a lawyer, you're very exposed because you have information and you tackle it. So, seasons and time. You need to understand that when trends are moving, where do you see yourself as a social engineer using the law in that field? You have conversations around cloud, around workflow, around data analytics. It is not okay for you as a lawyer to just be a lawyer. You have to have soft skills. You have to add it. Right now, I'm taking a course on AI ethics. Why? Because I know that in the next 5 years or in the next 3 years, right, because of the acceleration of Africa and technology. Like I said, Africa has been relegated, but because we're in this time and season where we're becoming the front guys of everything. Everybody's coming back home to say, what can we tap from Africa? Whether it's music, whether it's skill set, whether it's whatever it is. So the question now remains that what will be the growth of our technology? We're not going to go through what America went through, where there was version 1, version 2, we're going from version 1 to version 20. So it means that in the next 3 years, AI is the conversation that we're having now. The Minister of Digital Economy has been doing the campaign. Everybody do AI, adopt AI. And I saw that and I said, You know, I was on Twitter and I saw that someone used Grok to undress a woman. I said, okay, this is a problem. Someone reached out to me and said, oh, Foza, we have this new AI, conversation. We want to integrate with your law firm. I said, okay, so my data, my IP, my benefit, how is it protected? Oh, don't worry. I said, it's not about being worried. AI trains on data. The question is, how do you compensate the owner of the data? These are conversations that lawyers should be having. So now I'm taking a course in AI ethics because I know in the next 3 years it's going to be a problem. You know why it will be a problem? By 2027 when election starts, everybody will be using Gemini and Grok and everything to manipulate. Then the politicians will be affected. Then they'll say, okay, this AI you're talking about, what are we doing with it? Then they'll now be looking for who are the AI experts or the AI ethics person. And I'll come up and say, I'm here. Then someone will say, Foza gets everything. No. Foza has the unfair advantage of access to information and acting on information, which is what innovation, technology, and the law is about. Right? You have cybersecurity and digital evidence. Do you still do security as part of your course? You do, right? I'll give you an example. When we were studying law and security, and I'll tell people, oh, I'm doing a security course. It's like, that bad again. You are not even doing the real law, but you are just passing everything because you are not sure that your accreditation is standard. But guess who now is having conversations with everybody about human security, physical security, cyber security? Me. Right? Guess who in the next 1 year is going to start a security firm with a security expert from America? Me. Why? Because I was exposed to security information from backup. So cybersecurity is becoming a huge deal because whether you like it or not, the world is moving from the physical to the metaverse. The question you ask yourself is, how am I protected in the metaverse? The rights that you operate on here, how am I going to function there? What happens to my image in that universe? What happens to my voice in that universe? What happens to my skills in that? What happens to my IP? What happens to the security of my client? Can anybody just go online and get their BPN and NIN? Recently, they said that the NIN that does our NIN, everybody just kept quiet until one lawyer that focused on cybersecurity and data protection went to back and forth, settled. But that now translated to the conversation that we are having around the National Data Protection Act. Because the lawyer stood up and said, this is not right, this is wrong. Social engineered it and created a precedent. Right? So there's going to be, because whether you like it or not, whether Nigeria likes it or not, whether we like to wear the lawsuit, the suit, the wig and gown, and stay in hot court, that's why I don't do litigation. and probably spend like 7 years and 10 years in court. Whether we like it or not, in the next 10 years, the judiciary is going to move with the times and season. The question is, how would you, when COVID happened and everything was shut down, the judiciary was forced to use technology. You see the judge coming on Zoom, how do I put the background? Why is it key in the background? Can you hear me? No, you repeat yourself. No. The world has become remote. I don't need you. I probably see my staff once in a quarter because everything we do is tech enabled. Right? So the question is, how are you functioning in that space? You have conversations about products, tech products. One of the most brilliant set of tech experts are lawyers. They have law background. They have law background. You have conversation about blockchain, smart contracts. The world is moving from your conversation on what are the elements of contract. Constitution is not fair, but needs to be sufficient. The law has moved from section 244, no. Your client will go to ChatGPT and what does the law say about X and S? Give it in 5 minutes. The question, what differentiates you between ChatGPT and you that went to Bako Hospital? How do you use this tool? Because at the end of the day, the thing that the tool does not have over you is the brain. They've said that AI is it's smarter than Einstein, and I refuse to believe it. I don't believe it. Because the tool is subject to me. How I use it is the outcome that it will give me. But the clients don't care. The business doesn't care. The world doesn't care. What the world cares about is who is offering value to solve my problem. Do you get it? Hey, hello, room reset. You guys don't join. So we have a house rule here. When I say room reset, I say hello, you say hi. So don't say hello. No, you do. Hello. You can't do. They force you out of school. Sorry, if you listen to this one. Apologies. Hello. Good, you are smiling now. Thank you very much. I also like the fact that we have many female lawyers in the building. Give me a round of applause. I sincerely do believe that the future is very woman. But that's a conversation. Maybe I'll be. Some people have said I'll probably be the first female president in the country. So maybe let's see. Right. Now, in all of this conversation, what matters to me the most and what I feel like would differentiate you from everybody is a conversation about ethics. The best lawyers in the game, if you really go and check their profile, have the highest level of ethics, discipline. They are lawyers that when you have conversation with them, you see that they are the custodians of the law. I mean, you will meet lawyers in your practice where they are sharpshooters. That's where the phrase, oh, if your case is bad, your case is bad. I'm not going to try and manipulate. The people say, we're a lawyer in Nigeria now. You know what, you don't use police and carry it. Why am I using police to carry someone that does this defamation? Oh, it's cyberbullying. Ethics. Unfortunately, the bar as we have it right now, I guess they're very unethical. Right? We have a lot of lawyers that are doing things that, personally, I'm not proud to associate with. You see some cases in court and you just be like, is this what the rule of law should be? Is this what jurisprudence are we trying to teach? But because the lawyer is looking for sanction at the end of 10 years, they are manipulating the cases cases and just dumping all the cases and just playing all the games, you know. So you would meet a bar that is very less ethical. And fortunately and unfortunately for you, you are coming from an environment that has taught you ethics, that has taught you discipline. Once again, exposure to information. How you use the information of ethics and discipline is what determines your ability as a lawyer or as a law graduate or whatever you want to do in your career. Your integrity is what determines how long you stay in this game. Now, in terms of tech and ethics, like I said, technology, like everything, is a tool. The problem is not with technology, the problem is with the people. If someone decides that they want to use AI to address a woman, AI, the problem of the person that used that prompt. If someone decides that I'm going to use deep fake to put someone's picture on something and tell them that this is what they are doing, it's a people problem, not a tech person. So where do you come in as a lawyer? Conversations around confidentiality, accuracy, fairness, integrity. Those are conversations that should be ringing in your mind. As you decide to pick your career path, pick your niche, and this doesn't just apply to tech, it just applies to how you ethically think or something. I'll give you an example. Some of you go and work in law firms and you'll be exposed to templates of the law firm. I've had a situation where an employee took the template that I drafted. Mind you, I know I drafted it because it's a new area of law. So I know my template. You know, I know where I put the watermark. And he took the template and used it for another client that is not the client of the firm. Unfortunately for him, the team came back to my client. I don't remember this person paying me to draft this contract. Why is this contract with this person? Long and short, because also he wanted to speak, but he's not down to speak earlier. I found out his email and I was just like, dude. But the ethics of him understanding that these templates are sacrosanct to this law firm. It's the trade secret of this law firm. So I will treat it as such. It didn't matter to me. No, they just needed to make one quick 150K. Did he get fired? Yes. If I see him outside, will I write a recommendation letter? No. And that's how unethical behavior builds a bad rep for you everywhere you go. Now, tech is booming. What are the opportunities for you after all this talk and this foundation that I've laid? Because if I don't lay that foundation, you can see gold in front of you and you don't know what to use it to do. Do you understand? So we have conversations around data, privacy, and AI governance. I know the 500 level says, are you guys just resuming? Or you're about to graduate? Sorry? First semester. So that means you guys are going to start submitting your project topics. You've already submitted it? Okay, I hope you not pick boring topics. And I'll tell you the thing that they don't tell you about your project topic. It's really the first deep dive for you into what your career is going to look like. So those of you that pick very mundane topic like the fundamental human rights of the review, or the justifiability, or the impossibility of the bar, explore. You know, I remember when I did my project was on music law, and it was so interesting because when I sat down with one of the elders in the industry and was giving me the history of Nigerian music, you know, and how the local content law, you know, changed the way we listen to music in Nigeria. It was mind-blowing. And I went like, yeah, I'm gonna do this thing. So, just giving you expo, right? Data privacy and AI governance, fintech and digital public infrastructure. Just so that you know, the owner of PESA graduated from Bangkok. Yeah, clap. Do you know what PESA is? How many of you here you pay for things online? most likely 99% supported by Paystack. Paystack was the first unicorn tech company in Africa or Nigeria. I have to check. 2 guys graduated from Backward. $200 million. Maybe if I say the amount, it is really there. $200 million was what they sold their company for. The lawyer did that transaction. The guy, was the lawyer involved in that transaction? Yes. Tech. Digital creative economy and IP. Those of you that want to come and join me in the creative economy. How many of you want to be entertainment lawyers? My campaign is not strong. I should have changed this topic to entertainment law. So only one person. Oh yeah, you get an internship with me when you are done your summer. What's your name? What's your name? Kesia. Alright. 5 years after you get an internship. I'm just so that I've said, people that are with me are working in next stage, working with Universal. You get to see that I'm a small person. You're not doing a statement or no. So cyber security, tech transactions, supply chains, policy and standards. This is future revolution. Arbitration is becoming such a huge deal, and we need experts. Some of you want to go to the bench. We need, in the next 5 years, we're pushing to have a specialized IT course. Once again, information, right? We've been pushing for it. Professor Bankole said class, we part of people also pushing for it. We want specialized IT course. When those courses are established, because they will be established, who are the lawyers that will be functioning there? Who are the judges that will be functioning there? Right? These are the opportunities you need to open your eyes to and say, okay, don't be mundane. You can't afford to be mundane. You can't afford to be regular. As the Bafok said, you can't afford to be regular. Right? The unfair advantage that Bafok gives you is that it has such a wide interdisciplinary education system. Bafok doesn't just, and I'm not saying this because I'm campaigning for Backward. I'm saying this because I'm a product of it. It's holistic education. It builds your soft skills, it builds your legal skills, and it just builds your personal discipline. And I know some of you hate the fact that you go to church Wednesday. Is it Wednesday or Tuesday? Wednesday evening, Friday evening, Saturday morning, Saturday evening. I know. Don't worry, I went to the high school. That was my head boy. Dr. Dangane was my head boy when I was in GS1. And I used to run away from church. You mean me? I'm always sick. Time was when I was sick. Even when I came to Bangkok, let me listen. I have chest pain. Chest pain, thank God God did not use what we use our mouth to call. Right? I hated, I feel like, why is this so regulated? Why is this so regulated? What is the discipline of it? Because the law is a very cumbersome career. Forget that I'm wearing a very nice hat, I'm looking deep, but the hard work, sometimes I sleep 3 a.m. and I wake up 7 a.m. Why? Because the client has paid you, they want the response. So before I would spend 5 hours doing one work, because I'm able to use ChatGPT, I do it in 25 minutes and 30 minutes. Because I can sit down and tell it, this is what I've done in the last 10 years, do it like this, do it like this, and it brings out the result. And even if it makes a mistake, I can correct it. So if a client comes to me, and why do lawyers make money? Experience. If a client comes to me and says, comes to Desia, she just graduated and she says she's an entertainment lawyer. First day she's like, nobody cares about the young lawyers. Young lawyers are not being well paid. See, why they always give money to old lawyers? Old lawyers have experience. But what sets you apart? Why would the old lawyer say, I want to mentor or pour into Desia or Vera? Why? Because they've seen that this person knows how to take new information and run with it to create. Just like the lecturers here, when they see us outside, they are very proud. It's the same way when I mentor somebody and they say, oh, who trained you? They say, Fosa. I say, yeah. But if they're back, I say, don't ever use my name anyway. I don't know. They say, write recommendation. I say, I don't know this person. I deny. But when the person is doing good, that's my product. I know that person. And that's what Babcock gives you. It gives you to interact with people with like minds. Because when you go out to work in the field, you grow faster or you go faster with people that have like minds. And that's why the alumni association is very important. Because the people that you meet outside, they have very different sets of moral code. I've been in situations where I tell my clients, I work in an industry where 419 is very normalized. Some people say they are loyal to the bad boys, they are loyal to the Yahoo boys. My industry is primarily funded by Yahoo money. But when I was entering into the career, one of the first things I heard from God, I said, God, anything that will put me into trouble, where they will go and arrest my family member, don't let me see. And all through my career, I used to tell all my clients, please, if you are doing fraud, just go away, because my head, once I find out you are doing fraud, they will either catch you, or the business will crumble. Let's just, one guy thought it was a joke. I didn't even know, she wanted to let me just run a random background check on this client. I said, hey, your man has credit card fraud all over Google said. But you see, the money was sweet. I was probably 5 years into my practice and it was a 10 million naira brief. But it's, my mind, I'm like, this thing sounds too good to be true. The guy just said, just sign and I'll pay 10 million. I said, you don't want me to walk? He said, no, just sign. We receive the money on our behalf, we pay it out. I was broke. Because I used to go back to my mother's house and say, Mommy, if you have food. My mother said, okay, he said, don't worry, fine. I'm like, this 10 million. This was like 2016. I just close my eyes and sign this 10 million. I said, God, this test, I don't like it. I don't like it. But then I talk about it, I said, so they now catch me. They now say, ex-Bangkok student, Fawehinmi. I said, no. This is how the devil wants to shame me. I said, no. I said, the guy, excuse me, sir, you take your business elsewhere. He said, 10 million. I said, sir, you will take your business elsewhere. Please. Because I had a moral code that was guiding me. And truthfully, they arrested me, sir. And everybody that collected money with him, they arrested all of them. And you see a lot of lawyers with ethics. I don't think another short example before. Sorry. I'm rounding up soon, don't worry. I know it feels like I'm talking too much, but don't worry, I'm rounding up soon. Alright. Don't worry, the attending is time to round up. I'll round up soon. I'll soon round up. Now, Babcock forces you to explore new areas of law. It's very unconventional for a law school, especially in Nigeria, and this point of view, which is what your lecturers do. They ask you questions and they tell you to challenge you. They want you to critically think. It's not the same in law school. Law school is la crème la peau. You cram it with oil. In fact, one of the things that I feel like maybe that I did not really get the food I wanted was because I was doing a lot of in the instance of imagine in something of as opposed to sexual XXX or the XXX bar. But this fundamental framing of analyzing things is what separates, the Bible says separate the good from the sharp. It's what separates the regular lawyers recently a young man at 34 was called, became a Sam. For context, Sam, Professor Choli just became a Sam 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. For someone at 34, became a Sam. What does that mean for you? It means that age is just a number. You are set to do great exploits. But if you don't understand the information and how innovation works, and how if you're not tech savvy, if you're not understanding of how technology uses into your daily life, I'll give you, just to make it relatable. How many of you here use the Flow app or the Stardust app? Oh, clap for yourself, guys. You know why? Because it took me about 15 years to realize that, oh, my hormones affect the way I walk. There are some weeks, and young women over here, if we're being real, practical. There's a week in a month I don't want to walk. I'm angry with life. I'm depressed. I'm this and that. And so on and so forth. Have you ever checked? How would I say? You realize that your body changes at a certain age and you need to adjust. Probably take a bit of this, use this app, use this technology app, use this. And I downloaded Stardust. And once I start having a headache or I don't want to work, I just go and say, oh, you're in this phase. Make sure you eat plantain, you eat this, you eat that, change your mood, it will help you. It's a real life issue. Especially for you that you work under a lot of stress. If you don't understand your body will betray you. It's also part of technology. How do you use technology to improve your health? Because your body is what makes you productive. If your mind is not productive, I was reading one contract in French the other day. I was beginning to see my brain was glitching. I just said, pause, I went to go and turn it back, edit it back, and I came back to the contract. So, you're laughing at me, I said, no, I said, it's good. Because why are you sending me contract in Portuguese? For my client was like, I need this contract reviewed in 24 hours. 19 pages in Portuguese. Contract was almost $500,000. Will you tell your client that you don't understand Portuguese? Will you tell your client that, what will you use? Google Translate. Do you see? So, how do you use tech to better your life? The fundamental of it is that technology will make you productive and efficient. Staying in the office 9 to 5 is no longer efficient. That's not what your employer wants. That's not what your client wants. They want speed and they want effectiveness. So this new information I'm talking to you. How are you using it? AI is not going to replace you, but the lawyers who ignore AI will struggle. The lawyers who ignore technology will struggle. The lawyers who ignore analytical thinking, critical thinking, jurisprudence will struggle. The lawyers that don't understand that the law is a social engineer to change the world will struggle. Because the world is moving from what we know it as to a new era. So the question is, what role do you play in that new world? What are the talents that you have that technology can enhance? What is your game plan? When I started out my career, I had a 7-year game plan that covered every aspect of my life. Physical, mental, spiritual, career, family, relationship. Because when I like you have to plan anything. As a woman, if you decide that you want to get pregnant at 27, you better best believe that you know that you're spending about 2 years to raise that child before you get back into work. Plan. The world doesn't favor an erratic or planned person. Opportunities meet the person that is prepared and become a trailblazer. Now, I'm going to close very soon. And I do hope you remember this thing. Use all the tools that are available to you. Learn and study on the understand it from a legal point of view and from a human point of view. Because when you do that, you need to see solutions to problems. Keep your compass. What guides you? What's your moral code? Who do you report to? Right? Build. Building is very tough. Building is very... You should do entrepreneurship. You guys are lucky. You guys are lucky because when they taught me entrepreneurship in NYC, they said it's just to make money. That's not what entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is to solve solutions. To provide solutions. And that's what I was talking about. NYC said with 15K you can start a business. That's why we have businesses that don't last. That's why we don't have legacy businesses, we don't have succession. Because we are not properly taught how to create the system. Stay teachable. For you to advance in life, you have to be very humble to learn. You don't know everything. In fact, you should be afraid because the guys that are coming 100 level, there's more things than you that are finishing 500 level. Right? And that's what technology does. Leverage backup. You have a huge network in backup. You have many people are not yet that. I don't want you guys to feel bad. This is the first time. Me, you are going to see me every year. If you call it every year, you see me. I'll fly down, right? Now people have airports here, so you can fly. Shout out to the government. Right? You can fly down. I know Dr. Dangane is angry with me because my school did 30 years, I did not shoot. Sorry, sir, I was in France. Right? So don't despise this. I've gone to many schools and they're not 30, I'm speaking. I will drive all the way from Lagos to Abuja to whatever to go and speak and they're just 30 people. Don't despise it. This is beginning of greatness. Because I promise you, I say, back to me, I will always answer. Because I give back to my community and that's the sense of responsibility. You have to have all my business partners. Isaac is coming tomorrow. Isaac Oshuchi, we were in school together, he was in my class. He handles the litigation for my law firm. We run a co-partnership in law firm. I'm also invested in his business, right? And he didn't need to pitch and do PowerPoint presentation. He just asked, I said, you have extra money, come and invest in this thing. Okay. Why? Because we're going to back up together. I know that. And yes, I will find, I'll go and call Dr. Aro or Professor or Professor Olarojo and tell them, see why is it good to me when you do that? Because we still, when I left, many of the alumni still talk to the lecturers in school. We still refer to our lecturers in school. One of our first AG, that's Supermaro Colloquium, he ran for local government chairman at some point. I campaigned for him. Why? He went to backup. Many of backup students are going to begin to enter government. In fact, they are already entering government. They are already senior special advisors, technical assistants. Do you know what it means that, and being a student is such a privilege. Because you send a letter to the minister and say, we want you in backup, the minister says, the student, let me come. But I don't do that again. You know letters I sent to the ministry, they never answer me. But as a student, you have to leverage. So you have to leverage backup. Leverage, I just told you that 2 backup students, you big pay staff. They own a football league now. But because you are not part of the network or you don't use that, I don't like that backup, they stress me, they cut my head to length, they 3 inches scared. People see where 6 inches there. They don't cut my head short. You're angry. The world outside thrives on community. It thrives on network. My biggest brief, as I'm signing out, my biggest brief in this world, I was traveling and someone called and said, Because I'm going to give your number to Dr. Aride, looking for a lawyer. I said, okay. Dr. Aride called me and said, oh, I heard you went to bank. I was part of the founding guys of law school. I said, yes. And I said, okay. He said, so who taught you? I said, Professor Banko. He said, ah! 1 second. Probably called Prof. Oh, do you know this person? Oh, yeah. He called. He said, I've asked around. They said you're a person of integrity. Come and work on this brief. Community. My pattern was, I'm going to read something that guides me today. And why a lot of people don't progress, the difference between people that stay and people that don't stay. Even if you're the most brilliant person, even if you're the most brilliant person, and there's a quote from, I'm sure you know it, that's how I tell you. The greatest want of this world is the want of women and men. Women and men who will not be bought or sold. Women and men who in their innermost souls are true and honest. Women and men who choose conscience is as true as to duty as to leading to the pole. Women and men who will stand for what is right, even though the heavens fall. But such a character is not a result of accident. It is not due to special favors or endowment of providence. A noble character is the result of self-discipline, of the subjection to the lower, of the lower to the higher nature, the surrender of self for the service of love to God and man. My closing statement: what are you called to solve? Why are you on earth? Which problem are you solving? Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you very much for the wonderful, very wonderful alumni Colloquium lecture. Thank you very much. I'm sure we have learned a lot, right, Prof? Sure, we have learned a lot, and we are hoping that shortly from now we'll still have some moments of interaction with you, especially for the undergraduates who want to speak to you on a few things. Right about now, we're coming to the end of this afternoon or morning session. We want to invite Dr. Buduga Oyagri, who is the chairperson for the BU LSS Alumni Homecoming Committee, as he chronicles the history of LSS.
Thank you very much. May I stand on existing protocol? And for want of time, welcome all of us back, particularly my dear friend, Oyinkansola. Let me also welcome my colleagues in law and equity. Gentlemen of the press, I've been asked to chronicle the history of this great school of law and security studies, and I feel honored by that nomination. My sense of honor is two, and I shall briefly set them out without delay. One, I feel honored that as the first Attorney General, that's ages to President of Lausanne, is a historical fact that is now lost in LSS. because I was there, I can speak of the society that started in 2006. I can speak of a society that started in 2006. At the beginning of that society, we had 25 members. Myself served as the AG, while Sheba Mora Bola served as the first secretary. The second sense of honor I have to do this history is because as a staff, when I joined Babcock University LSS in 2012, I have been honored to see the glories of this idea closer. And reasoning hypothetical, deductively inductive, I think it will still closer and legally endure. 2. The journey of the studentship of LSS in 2006. Actually, we started in 2025-2026 session at the main campus, and we used SAP building as our venue until we moved here in 2006. In 2006, the best of the ILG students were migrated, and we were about 100 or thereabouts. But because of lack of facility and the non-accreditation that hung on opening new law schools, many parents withdrew their children or rather instructed them to go back to ILG. That number continued to fall until it fixed at 25. I want to thank the visionary leadership of Professor Kayode Makinde, who dared to challenge the status quo. Such a vision of Makinde to bring a sui generis school of law in this realm. He had to call the executive Professor I.O. Abede and late Professor Zach, or Zacchaeus Olomodobi, but popularly called Zach Olomodobi, to bet this school of law and security studies. The first of its kind in Seventh-day Adventist Church in Africa to offer a law program. Our quota at inception was 50. I'm sure that if the 100 students granted to do law remained, perhaps maybe ABC would have granted us 100 as our quota. LSS has 3 departments. The following have been deans of this school, dean and provost of this school. The first was Professor Zach Olomodobi from 2006 to 2011. Emeritus Professor I.O. Abede from 2011 to 2013. Professor Bankole Sholifor from 2013 to 2015. Professor Deji Olariwaju was appointed the Dean and Provost of LSS in 2017 to 2023. In between 2015 to 2017, they are leading to the appointment of Professor Deji Olariwaju. Emeritus Professor I.O. Abede served as the Dean in a transitioning time for LSS. Currently, we have our own dear Professor Dr. Odunake as the current Dean. She is doing well, and I do so in all ramifications. Let me also thank the current administration of Babcock University for consolidating on the vision that was started. This vision in 2006 was a doubt. What we all now gather to celebrate was a doubt. But the graduation of 2010 was an icebreaker. What has followed subsequently every year can be termed to be a rock breaker. A place, a faculty of law that was undersubscribed, that people doubted whether a law program was being run here, and whether the lecturers were actually sure that they were teaching in a law faculty, is now oversubscribed. Lawson is no longer a grasshopper, but has taken a seat in the roles of honor and is constantly being mentioned in legal space. Also, our alumni are making great strides in their academic fields and entrenching further degrees in the Nigerian legal practice and beyond. Two things can happen from what I have said. We can be a strong university because of a strong alumni. Or we can be a strong alumnus because of a strong university. In both ways, we must partner to mutually benefit ourselves and the institution. Alumni must have an interest in their alma mater, and they must have them at heart. Hence, the utility of the 2025 homecoming, aptly termed Shaping Future, Celebrating Legacies. Finally, I dare you to connect with your own, to get mentorship from industry players, to bridge the gap in theory. This is the essence of this homecoming. And on this note, And on this note, I ask you, urge you to have a wonderful outing and session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Luka Oyagi, Chairperson of the BU LSS Alumni Homecoming Program Committee. Thank you very much for that wonderful chronicle of LSS so far. Let us invite the Provost and Dean as she comes up to speak to us about the unveiling of the LSS Alumni Project.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the well-established protocol. I have on the screen the BU LSS Alumni Project. It is student-focused, student-friendly, and the aim is to make our classroom more conducive for learning. So going forward, their plan is to pack the seats and make it more comfortable, not just where you're going to sit on, but even where you're going to rest your back upon. They're going to partner with Busa in making our classroom colder. Like you said, what happened at the law school. We have ACs in our classrooms, and that is a project that started with the big ESD set. They brought in 5 ACs. The current Busa will be bringing in more ACs, and then we'll be renovating the existing one, so that you don't need to rush to LMC to come and enjoy the AC. You can stay in the comfort of the classroom and read. So in the name of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we are ready this. And we know by the time we're having the next alumni homecoming, we have so many of the classrooms to be commissioned to the glory of God. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Adima. And we are also hoping that alumni who are here can also, they should actually, invest in this project so that we can give back to our alma mater with this, at least for the meantime. Other projects will come, like Professor Larry rightly mentioned. I want to invite our Director of Alumni Connectivity, Dr. Jonathan Dangane, will be giving us the last presentation for this session. And it is titled Bridging the Gap, Connecting the Past, Inspiring the Future. He's giving us the presentation, the Alumni Connectivity presentation. I want to ask the alumni to please stand. Stand. This is our Oga. Yes, let us stand. And this is our Oga. So that you can also see your people. Yes, let them stand. Some others are outside, others to join us moment from now.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning or afternoon now. Hello? Can you hear me? Is anybody hungry? If you're an alumni and you are hungry, let me see your hand. So that's where you are an alumni of hunger. All right, I will make my presentation as brief as possible. If I exceed 1 hour, all of you walk with me. Okay, but I'm not going to get to that. Thank you for the opportunity, and like I mentioned earlier, this is the first of its kind that is happening here at Prof University. I'm going to share very quickly what our vision is and our mission is at the alumni office. But before that, it is important for you to know that alumni plays a pivotal role in shaping legacy, building and bridging gaps. It connects the past to the present. For instance, there are some things that, okay, let me make reference to Oyinkansola because she's the only alumni who has spoken. There are things that she will talk about that cannot make sense to some people. I heard her talk about tasty fried chicken. It doesn't even exist anymore. So, somebody will actually be struggling to understand what exactly are you talking about tasty fried chicken. Maybe the closest would have been if you said KFC. You know that they were bringing KFC. Okay, KFC, I can see from the way I can connect, I can understand what it is. I'm saying to you that there's a generational gap, that there are so much experiences that it only takes you listening to another person who has trod that path for you to be able to reconcile where you are and have, the clarity of where you want to get. So, what are we looking at in the alumni? To have an alumni, a student community, or past student community as a case may be, who are proud and interested in the life, the growth of Prof University. Now that growth may not necessarily have to be in Naira and Kobo. A phone call might just be the change maker. Number 2, our mission is how do we then strengthen the relationship that is existing in silo, and then of course for professional growth, for support and university development. Let me give you a pictorial, historical perspective of that. Now, many of you are schooling in Bangkok and may not even know this, that the institution started in 1959 as a college. It is owned and operated by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. We became a college of West Africa. The question is, why did we change to a college? That was what the founding fathers wanted. Then by 1975, it became a seminary. The question is, why? That was immediately after the Civil War. Colleges were being collected or were being mopped up by government to own them. And so the owners of the institution didn't want that to happen to her. So the smartest thing was to move into a seminary. It was like, okay, this is a seminary. They're training pastors, so free them. And so that journey continued for 40 years until 1999, April the 20th, when Bangkok got her official charter or accreditation to operate as a university. And then by the same year, September 17, we had the first matriculation. And that is why September 17 is always Bangkok Founders Day. By the way, it is on record. When we got the charter in 1999, there were 5 of us who got the charter to start at a private university. 2 never started till tomorrow. Only 3. Bangkok, Iperu, Novena. Let me repeat it. Bangkok, Iperu, Novena. These are the premier accredited universities. Arguably, Bangkok is the premier university. So why did I say arguably? Because Bangkok is the only university, again, the same year she admitted her first student did her matric the same year she got her accreditation. So in other words, it was like more or less like Babcock was more ready than any other person. You clap for yourself. Okay, so a lot of parents were not believing in Babcock. I came to Babcock. I even took classes under the tree. What will it look like if this building does not exist? You're even talking of it. Barrister Yagir, you may remember. Only functional cyber cafe was in Edition now. In fact, no, that came later. The only cyber cafe was we had to go to Shagam. So you have an assignment, you go to Shagam and pay to work overnight, then you go with so many disk drive. There was no CD-ROM. 512 MB. If you had that, it's like you had the whole world. Bless your soul, you don't even know what to do. Instead of downloading to save, you were copying URL and saving. You now come back, after you worked overnight, you now come back and you're only seeing things. Like it's not opening. You're gone. That was my story. Or that is my story. Wait, I'm even saying it now, so people are trying to figure out, like, what are you talking about? If you go to the main campus, was where we had cafeteria. In fact, we had a bed, a ring of a tile. When it is time for food, you know, they would eat. It was almost like you're in secondary school. Where you have registry today, so there was a megaphone. If your parents came, they will go to registry, they will hold mic, announce your name wherever you are on campus. You will now come to registry to come and meet your parents. Some people are cutting some chills. But that's the reality. That was the school I went to. As for you, your parents will even call you before they arrive. They will not even come to the reception. You would have possibly met them somewhere and even pretend that nothing happened. Only if they bring food, they will see you carrying something to go in. That's all. But for our own, it was a mega announcement. Your parents are around. And there is no way you would like to voice that there is nothing to give them to eat. Then we have games and bad behavior like instigation. Okay, instigation. You may not know that. Don't try it. We use bucket for baking to cook spaghetti overnight. Arguably, I think I did the most fraudulent, craziest thing that I have not heard anybody do. I cooked yam in the hall with 4 boiling eggs. And we had the fried eggs. Beautiful. You know how I fried the eggs? That was when there was this plate they call 555. Do you know that plate? It was a boarding house plate, aluminum. Your parents would give it, well, our parents gave us to go to boarding house because washing it was the easiest thing. You just open tap, everything will just go. It's normal, it's simple. So on that plate, I plucked the iron, put the plate there, break the egg, fry, everything's alright. But if you try it now, you will go. So, I want you to understand something, that there are some fundamental things beyond what Fosa has talked about. The next slide, which are Babcock's core values. In other words, if you will finish from here and you will not go with anything, ensure that these core values are things that will remain with you. Excellence, integrity, accountability, team spirit, servant leadership, autonomy and responsibility. And then the last is called Adventist heritage. And guess what? The last quotation that was read by Fosa is a reflection of Adventist heritage. We couldn't have gotten it somewhere. And when we say Adventist heritage, it's not being said that you must go and carry Sabbath and put on your head. No, it's the values that you exude, that people can see. Our speaker at the last Founders Day who came, to speak, she told us a narrative that she had the opportunity of meeting Kofi Annan before he died. And she asked him, did you apply to be the UN Secretary General? He said, no. So she was like, how? And she repeated what he said to her, that it will get to a point that after all your CV is being looked upon, everything, the next thing the world will be looking at is your integrity, your personality. So, as an alumni, beyond all the accolades, beyond all that you're going to get, beyond all the enriching CV, if there is no character, everything is zero. Everything is zero. So Babcock that started as a college, now there are 11 faculties, there are 43 departments, there's one postgraduate program, there are 2 campuses. In fact, permit me to say there are 3 campuses, because now there is another campus that is coming out just behind the law campus, all within 26 years. It's only at the top. Alumni who are in Lagos, when you get to the terminal in Ebutemeta, I don't know how many of you have taken note of that. The moment you walk out of the terminal, just look up straight, you will see Babcock House. In there is a guest house. I'm not marketing for them though, but yeah, the money comes as fine. There's a guest house, executive programs take there. In fact, the Babcock Business School operates from there. And then of course, now we have an open Babcock University Center for Open Distance Learning, where again you can take classes online. So here, I want to just go very quickly. What gap are we trying to bridge? Why does bridging the gap matter? There are 4 points that I will make. Please, you can quickly run them. Number 1, alumni serve as role models and mentors. The Fosa you are seeing today, or the Oyinkansola you are seeing today, is an elaborate version of who she is. If you had the opportunity of meeting her when I met her, she told you she came 100 level at 14. So imagine her minus 6 years. So minus 6 from 14 was how long I knew her. She was looking very frail, tiny, so that when she tells you she's, oh my goodness. When she tells you she has chest pain, you think like she was folding, the chest was going to fold, you will be left with no option until I go. Today I have now learned that it was just a prank to get away. Fosa is a role model to a lot of people that even if she has to live this life again, she will never meet all of them. There are so many alumni that are also doing equally the same. Let me pick one. It doesn't matter what your view may be about it. I know that David Adeleke, aka Davido, is a role model to so many people that lifetime may never be sufficient for him to meet them one after the other. So in other words, as alumni, even when you leave school, there are lived experiences that you have that people can rely on to become better than where they are. For even clarity. 2, it is necessary we bridge gap. Why? Because we need to enhance student career readiness. I am sure the alumni that are here, if what they know right now, they knew it 5 years earlier, they would have possibly behaved differently while in school, or may have chosen another course to study. May, I didn't say we. The third, why is it important we bridge the gap? Number 3, to build strong support network for graduates. I heard, I keep mentioning her name, right? She mentioned that one of her partners is a schoolmate. This is because there is going to be a common ground for dispute resolution, which is her teachers and her mentors. Her teachers and her mentors. organized a conference for an international organization that I belong to. Money was not coming. I reached out to one of my former students, whom I am still in touch with. This student, like joke like play, approved $50,000 for that organization. But it came as sponsorship from her organization to that organization. Now, I asked myself, if I was bad to this person, how could I have done this? Build stronger networks. There are alumni who get jobs only because they know another alumni and nothing more. There are alumni who, through meeting another alumni, will end up becoming who God has always destined them to be. The last point. To promote the pride and loyalty to Babcock University. Well, you have heard Prof. Solariwaju mention, wherever he finds himself, after saying all that he has to say, he comes back with that prideful response that he is the former or the immediate past provost of the School of Law and Security Studies. Yes, there is that school, but where is that school housed? Babcock University. So, to inspire the future, there are 6 things that I will say. Next slide. Number 1, I group these things into 2. There's long-term offers and then there is short, mid-term offers. Okay? Let me start with the short term. We can create platforms and innovation collaborations. In other words, FOSA is into entertainment law. But there are other areas of thinking, other issues that are emerging in the entertainment that she may not be very focused with. But you, who is a brewing entertainment lawyer, only a conversation will spark the connection that you need from her to open the door. So we can start by having platform of innovation and collaboration. Those are short term. The second, we can encourage alumni like you are here. You don't need to have all the money, no, but your time, which we cannot pay for, is sufficient. Encourage alumni to share success stories. Do you know that your story alone of your success will be sufficient for somebody to want to come to Bangkok so that his own story will be the same? In other words, except you want the School of Law and Security Study to die, quote unquote, we need a traffic of another generation to come. And that traffic can only come from your testimony. So, how do we begin to tell the positive stories of what Bangkok has been to you? Okay? The third, foster leadership and global impact. This does not happen easily. In a country where we need to know somebody that knows somebody. Now there is somebody. But do you even have the mind? Are you ready for that? So long term, how do we learn to support research and entrepreneurship? Okay? Research, I'm not saying the project you did that is inside the library there. And I can assure you there are projects that you have done that nobody has even read. Even those coming behind you. Except your lecturer, you go and read it. Nobody reads it. But how do you translate your project into something? Let me use myself as an example. I did my doctoral work in the context of vulnerable people and internally displaced. I went to Maiduguri and I lived in IDP camp for 7 months. I lived there. Not because I didn't have a place to stay. No, I lived there. I fed with them. By the time I was done, it took me only 2 weeks to write, to complete my doctoral work, to finish the project. Why? Because I was not writing from what I had read. It is coming natural. Guess what? By the time I wrote something, just a Baker, I received a fully funded opportunity to get to Singapore. When I went to Singapore, I met people that possibly, if it were not for God, maybe till I died, I would never meet them. I sat on a panel with two presidents, the Prime Minister of Australia, the Prime Minister of Portugal, the Dean of Public Health for Harvard, and then the Dean of Public Health for London School of something economics. Come on now. London School of Economics, and then myself. Me. I've just missed you. Nothing. In other words, if you're going to chronological order of picking who and who to come, you don't even put my name. I'm saying that when you learn to support research as alumni, in other words, there are issues that are coming up in the industry. Throw it back to those of them in school who, in the last presenter's words, you have time. Let the head go past those, come up with new things, and then you in the industry that, oh, okay, this is the issue. All right, fine, come on board. Let's find a solution for it. So, alumni, I'm saying, you can support innovation, you can support research. These are long-term things. The last point is, you can also institute endowment and scholarship to encourage somebody. We can even start master classes. I was talking to Dr. Yagir. He was saying, we're thinking of this. I said, no, the world has not built that. I hope I'm not recording, right? Okay. Barrister Dino Melai, Esquire. Do you know that before he became a lawyer called to the bar, he had bragged that he was an alumni of Harvard? He was everywhere. Guess what? He only went for a certificate program, which possibly could be online, and he went there, finished. 2 weeks, he went for a 2-week program, Harvard, finished, completed the certificate, was there, and he said he's an alumni. Was he wrong? No. Depending on what you operationalize alumni to be. My point is, who says that in the School of Law and Security Studies, we cannot also have a 2-week program? That somebody will begin to brag and say, I am an alumni of School of Law and Security Studies, only because of that brand that we have created as alumni. So what's our strategy? Which is going to be the next time, and as I round up, number 1, alumni membership program, digital connectivity. It's one of the things we're doing in the alumni office. Career development, that's a new office that by God's grace, by December, we are opening that in the alumni office. Career development, job placement support is also part of what we are putting up in the alumni office by December. It will come to life. Then we are also starting alumni giving and philanthropy. That is already existing. We just need to develop that. So, for instance, further you can go on that alumni website and start to say, hey, I want to start something in the School of Law to support anybody who is into XYZ, and this is how much I want to raise. So it's like an open, quote unquote, crowdfunding. You will make noise about it so that people can come. The money goes there. When you reach out to the alumni office, you now tell you, okay, we will give you access from the back end to see how the money is going. So at the end of the campaign, it can be a lifetime. At the end of the campaign, you will now know how much in total is. But you will not have access to the money. You will have access to the day-to-day running of how that money is moving. I will conclude with this story, the last slide, or the next slide. It is possible. Look at this man. He was born in 1922. Today he is 105 years old. I visited him. He attended Accord in 1959. He attended Accord in 1959. How many? Those are alumni. Have you walked into main campus? Right? There's one faculty close to UBA, the bank. Yeah. You know it's named after somebody, right? Do you remember who? That's the man. That's goodwill. I visited Relive. He did something that I want to use that to challenge you. Today he is 105. He's still alive. He is the oldest alumni alive. Babcock or Aqua started with only 7 students, 6 are dead. This one is still alive. When he turned 97, he came by public transport from Kwara State to Babcock. He traveled by himself, entered public transport, came. And he came with 77,000 naira cash. He brought it and he said, this is my support so that Babcock does not die. I leave you with those words. You may have more than 77,000 naira in terms of time. You may have more than 77,000 naira in terms of connection. You may have more than 77,000 naira by the virtue of the contact on your phone. How can you use what you have as an alumni to better where you're coming from? Next slide. This is Babcock Alumni Building that is owned by you, by me, and those who are coming. And I want to tell you this free of charge. Yes, we have put up a building. But I'm not here to beg or tell you what do we do with it. No. I'm saying that if we can collectively as alumni put up what is today the tallest building on Babcock campus, then it means that as alumni collectively we have what it takes to put Babcock as the tallest university in the world. The last slide. Feel free. Should you have ideas, should you have thoughts of how we can work together to make Babcock, to make School of Law and Security Studies, to make any act of the university look better than what you met with, please feel free. Connect with me on Instagram, on Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. I'm everywhere because the job requires me to be everywhere. Just type and say, I have a Babcock. Listen, before you finish typing Babcock on that slide, have a blessed night and welcome.
Dr. Dangane for the inspirational lecture given to us. Let's appreciate it. Thank you very much. Dr. Dangane came with gifts for us, and we'll just ask Dangane to help me to just distribute some to distribute some to our alumni here. Yes, they will do that. We'll take pictures as evidence, and then we'll also put some to members of the high table. So please help me distribute that so that we can appreciate Dr. Dangane more. Just to remind us, this is the round about us. Yeah, just to remind us that some of you would have seen the Telegram link that has been we have been sharing. At the moment, we have about 50 members. And you can see how rapidly people have been joining. So please, do us a favor. If you know friends who have left Babcock and your set, your friends, please just distribute to them so that share with them so that they can join. We want to have a comprehensive BU LSS Alumni platform where we can share information with ourselves and also have a community. So thank you very much. Our program continues from around 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. We'll be having sporting activities for those who are interested. We have a lot of sporting activities, activities that we have listed. So if you're interested, please let us know so that we can just lead it to the appropriate quarters to take part in that. We will return here by 6 p.m. to have our worship for this evening. And And then we'll be having the Iperu Drama Group giving us a wonderful drama presentation, certainly filled with a lot of lessons. So our program doesn't stop here. We'll continue by 6 p.m. today. And then by God's grace, tomorrow we'll also resume worship by 9 p.m. And the Vice Chancellor and President of Babcock University will also be here to give us the sermon for tomorrow. And right about now, we will rise. Before rising, alumni will take a picture with our guest of stage here and our members of our just come now. We'll take a picture while you hold your kids, given to us by Dr. Dangane as evidence. Exhibits. Alright, let's come down so that we can take that picture with our alumni. And then thereafter, we will ask and we will take our closing prayer and we will call this. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll take our closing prayer. And I'm going to invite Oda to give us our closing prayer for this session. Thank you very much. Let's rise as a privilege.
Please let's stand up as a privilege. Our dear Lord, we thank you for today. Thank you for the gathering of mind. Thank you for the gift of information. Thank you for the gift of community. Thank you for the gift of network. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for blessing our lives. Thank you for the spirit and the tenacity of the planet. Thank you for the idea. Heavenly Father, as we progress to our day, pray that you provide us with connection to gather our steps. And I pray for everybody here today that has heard something new. The Lord grant you grace to establish and to accelerate in wisdom. I pray for commitment. I pray for wisdom. I pray for understanding. I pray for direction. And I pray for guidance. In Jesus' name.
All the students are waiting to the end of this program. Can we have a quick photograph here? Don't join us in front. You want to take a picture with photo, please join us. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
After the photograph, please, the alumni, you go to the common room upstairs. Alumni, please don't forget to go to the common room upstairs. And staff, alumni and staff, and those who are behind the table, you will join us at the common room upstairs. Please, alumni and staff, you join us, as well as those at the high table, you join us at the common room upstairs. take a picture of the folder. Who knows? This may be an excuse you will need in the nearest future. Just you as a folder. Take a picture of the folder. Okay, so let's have it next. So we can go on this side. Very much, everyone. We are grateful. Invited guests, members of the Life Group, alumni, and staff, please do go to the common room where we will take this conversation to the next level.